Have you ever felt like she wants you close, but never close enough? She texts you when she's lonely, calls you when she's bored, but when you ask, "What are we?" she changes the subject. Crazy, right? It's like she wants all the boyfriend stuff, without actually making you her man. So let me tell you something most men never hear. If you feel confused, lost, or unsure in a situationship, you're not the problem. The real problem is this: she knows you're always there, so she never has to choose. That's not love. That's comfort. That's control. She keeps you around because it feels good to have you there. You answer fast. You give time. You care. But she doesn't have to give you anything real in return. No label, no commitment, no clarity. Just enough to keep you hanging. And here's what hurts most. The longer you stay in that place, the more you forget your own worth. You start thinking, if I'm just more patient, if I prove myself more, if I wait a little longer. But bro, you don't need to prove yourself. You need to remember yourself. You are not a maybe. You are not a backup plan. You are not a warm body to fill time. You are a man. And your time, your energy, your love, they are not cheap. So here's the Stoic truth. If she won't choose you, you must choose you. And when you start choosing yourself, something wild happens. You stop chasing. You stop begging. You stop waiting. And suddenly, she starts noticing. Why? Because you're not trying to be picked. You're building a life worth sharing, with or without her. If she's unsure about you, be sure about yourself. Why do some women keep you around but never call you their man? Here's the truth. No one tells you. She's not confused. She just doesn't want to lose you while she looks for something better. Ouch, right? But wait. There's something powerful hidden in that pain. And this is where your power begins. Let's break this down like this. She says things like, "I'm not ready for a relationship. I'm just working on myself. I need more time." But then she sends late-night texts. She gets jealous when you talk to other women. She wants your time, your attention, your energy, but not your heart. She just won't claim it. And here's where most men get trapped. They think if they just wait, she'll choose them. So they keep being the good guy, the helper, the listener, the maybe one day man. But the more you wait, the more she waits too. She doesn't feel pressure to decide because you're still there. But now comes the power move. You flip the script, not by arguing or begging, but by doing something radical. You choose yourself. You don't wait to be chosen. You don't sit around hoping for a label. You look in the mirror and say, "I know who I am, and I don't need anyone to confirm it." And guess what happens next? She feels it. That shift, that change, that energy. You go from always available to focused, from always replying fast to handling your own life. And just like that, she starts wondering, where did he go? Why is he calm? Why isn't he chasing me anymore? That mystery, that peace, that's your strength showing. So ask yourself, are you still waiting for her to make up her mind? Or are you ready to make up yours? The truth, she likes the attention, not the commitment. Have you ever felt like she wants you around, but never really wants to keep you? Let me show you something she'll never admit out loud. You give, you care, you're kind, you show up. And guess what? She loves it. Not because she loves you, but because your attention feeds her. She doesn't want a relationship. She wants reassurance. She wants to feel wanted. She wants to feel special without giving anything back. This is how some women keep power. By keeping you close, but never letting you fully in. It's like being stuck in a hallway. She opens the door just enough. You see the light. You step closer. But then, slam, it shuts again. She gives you hope and then disappears. And that roller coaster, it makes you chase more. You think, maybe I just need to try harder. Number. You don't need to try harder. You need to see clearer. The truth is, when someone really wants you, you won't be confused. You won't feel like you're being tested all the time. You won't feel like you're guessing. But right now, you're guessing everything. Does she like me? Did I say the wrong thing? Is she busy or ignoring me? Those questions are signs, not of your weakness, but of her games. So what's the move? You stop giving your energy to someone who doesn't value it. You stop feeding a fire that never warms you back. You don't need to be mean. You don't need to explain. You just step back. Not to punish, not to make her miss you, but because your peace is more important than confusion. And when you do that, you take back your power. That power, that silence, that calm, it's louder than any message you could send. A man with no boundaries will always get used. Why does she act sweet, then disappear? Why does she cry when you leave, but still won't choose you? The answer might hurt, but it will set you free. Let's say it clearly. If you don't have boundaries, she will keep testing you. Again and again and again. Not because she's evil, but because people test the limits of what they can get away with. And if you let her, she'll take your time, your love, your focus, without giving anything real back. She'll text when she's bored. She'll call when she's sad. She'll flirt when she needs attention. But when you need clarity, when you want commitment, she suddenly gets confused or not ready. And here's what you must understand. You train people how to treat you. Every time you accept breadcrumbs, you tell her, "This is enough for me." Every time you stay silent when something feels off, you teach her, "He won't leave." But a stoic man, a man with calm power, he doesn't argue. He doesn't explain. He just moves. He watches. He listens. And when it's clear that someone doesn't value him, He doesn't stay in that space. That's how you protect your worth. That's how you stop being used. Because a man who knows his value doesn't fight for a seat at a table he built. So, is she choosing you or just using you? She won't label it because you already act like a boyfriend. Why should she give you the title if you're already giving her all the benefits? Let's look at what's really going on. She calls you when she's sad. You answer every time. She wants company at night. You show up without question. She asks for help, attention, love, care, and you always deliver. You hold her like a boyfriend. Listen like a boyfriend. Love her like a boyfriend. But guess what? You're not her boyfriend. You're the comfort zone. You're the safety net. You're the emotional pillow she runs to when the guy she really wants isn't available. And the moment you ask, "What are we?" she looks confused, scared, distant. Not because she didn't know how she felt, but because you didn't make her earn it. She didn't chase. She didn't wonder where you were. She didn't have to miss you or fear losing you. You gave her everything without asking for anything. And that's the trap. In Stoic living, love must be mutual, not one-sided. If she doesn't choose you clearly, she doesn't get to keep your presence constantly. Absence is powerful. Your energy is rare. Your time is not a toy. Stop being the boyfriend in a relationship that doesn't exist. Want to learn what a Stoic man does instead? To make her feel his worth without ever chasing her again? Silence makes her think. Talking too much makes her sure. Ever wonder why she seems more drawn to you when you say less? Let's be real. You try to explain everything. You say what you feel. You tell her how much you care. You explain your actions. You text a little too long. You reply way too fast. And still, she pulls away. Why? Because when you speak too much, you leave nothing for her to wonder. She doesn't miss you. She doesn't think, "Why did he stop texting?" She doesn't sit in silence with questions. Instead, she sits in comfort, knowing you'll keep talking. A Stoic man doesn't chase her with words. He lets silence do the work. He isn't afraid to leave a message on read. He doesn't rush to explain his choices. He doesn't talk to prove he cares. He lives, he grows, he moves forward. That calm silence, it makes her think, is he done? Why didn't he reply? Did I lose him? That's where curiosity begins. She doesn't fall for the man who talks the most. She falls for the man who makes her feel the most in his calm absence. Stop being her escape. Be the man she must earn. What if she's not confused at all, but just comfortable using you? Let's slow down here. She calls you when she's bored. She texts when her night feels empty. She hangs out with you, but only when no one else is around. You think she's just figuring things out. But here's the truth. She already figured you out. You're safe. You're kind. You're always there. You never say no. You never make her work. And that's the problem. You became her emotional break room. She enters when she's tired and leaves when she's good again. She doesn't chase you because she doesn't have to. A Stoic man never lets himself become an option. He doesn't let her lean on him while she looks for someone else. He's not a placeholder. He's a path, a man she must work to walk beside. When you have purpose, when your time is precious, when your space is sacred, she sees that you're not just available, you're valuable. Want her to respect you? Want her to see you as a man she could lose? Then stop being her just in case. Start being her only if she's worthy. The more you try to prove yourself, the less she feels you're worth it. What if trying harder actually makes her respect you less? This sounds crazy, right? You care, so you text her good morning. You plan the date. You listen, wait, and hope. You think, maybe if I show her how good I am, she'll finally choose me. But every time you do more, she feels less. Why? Because when you're trying to prove you're worthy, you're silently saying, you don't believe you already are. A strong man, a stoic man, doesn't prove. He lives. He doesn't perform to earn her attention. He builds his world. He leads himself. And if she fits, she can walk beside him. If not, he walks alone, without fear. Women are drawn to certainty. They want to feel pulled into your life, not begged into it. The more you chase, the more she pulls away. But the more you walk forward, focused on your mission, the more she wonders, why isn't he chasing me? That question, that's where attraction begins. Stop trying to convince her. Let your life speak louder than your words. When you stop talking, she starts thinking. What happens when a man goes silent and doesn't explain himself? She sends a dry message. You don't reply. She gives you a cold vibe. You don't ask why. She posts a story for attention. You don't even look. And now, suddenly, she's wondering, why isn't he reacting? Did he notice what I did? Does he still care? That silence, that calm, that stillness, it speaks louder than any long speech, argument, or emotional outburst. You see, most guys talk too much when they feel afraid. They explain, they chase, they ask, did I do something wrong? And in that moment, they lose power. But not you. A stoic man doesn't explain himself to gain comfort. He observes, he adjusts, and if something feels off, he creates space. Quietly, that silence makes her feel it. It makes her think deeper than your words ever could. Because women don't miss noise. They miss presence. They miss energy. They miss that quiet strength that once stood beside them, but is no longer there. So next time you're confused, don't try to fix it with words. Let the silence do the work. She won't say it out loud, but she'll start feeling it. Real power is when you're ready to walk and mean it. What if the real test is not in getting her to stay, but in being ready when she doesn't? Let's be honest. Most men are scared to lose her. They hold on too tight. They try to fix, explain, prove, and please. But deep inside, they're afraid. Afraid to walk away. Afraid to stand alone. Afraid to say, I'm enough, with or without her. That fear, that's what keeps you trapped. That's what she senses. And when she senses it, she knows she can do whatever she wants, and you'll still stay. But here's the truth, brother. You win the moment you stop being afraid to lose. When you truly know your value, when you trust your path, when you build your own world with your own rules and your own peace, you no longer beg to be kept. You're not mean. You're not cold. You're just certain of who you are, certain of what you want, and certain that if something doesn't align with your peace, it's okay to walk away. That's when you stop chasing. That's when you stop explaining. That's when you stop performing. And guess what? That's when she starts feeling drawn to you in a way she can't explain. Because real attraction doesn't live in words. It lives in your presence, in your energy, in your calm, in your silence. And most of all, it lives in your willingness to walk away when your soul no longer feels respected. That's power. That's peace. That's the Stoic path. So now the only question left is, are you ready to choose yourself every time?